supplemental logging. Okay. Okay. So now let us discuss about supplemental logging. So in the previous session, this is one of the most important topic which we are discussing right now. Supplemental logging. This will help you in setting up GoldenGate, troubleshooting. Many things comes with this. Okay. So one of the prerequisite of database was enabling the supplemental logging. So there are two types of supplemental logging. First is database level supplemental logging, and second is table level supplemental logging, or I can say object level supplemental logging as well. So to enable the database level supplemental logging, which we did in the previous session, the command was alter database, add supplemental log data all columns. Now, first of all, what is supplemental log? So guys, before I proceed, I have a blog related to it as well. You can Google it out. The blog is, you can just search K21 supplemental logging blog. So this blog is written by me. You can go through the first link. So this blog is written by me. It might not be under my name, but it's written by me. Okay. So now, what is supplemental logging? So supplemental logging basically adds, supplemental logging is basically extra logging. Supplemental logging means it's extra logging. So supplemental logging adds extra columns into redo logs so that a row can be uniquely identified in case of updates and deletes. So supplemental logging adds an extra column into redo log so that a row can be uniquely identified in case of updates and deletes. I'll give you one example for it. So say for example, we are replicating the data from DEPT table to DEPT table on source to DEPT on target. So we have three columns: department number, department name, and location. Okay. Now department number is primary key. Department number is primary key. Now you inserted three records here. For example, one, sales Canada. Using GoldenGate, this will be replicated to target. One, sales Canada. Then you inserted two. So department number is primary key, remember. Two, accounting Canada. Using GoldenGate, it will be replicated. Then you did three, accounting India. Using GoldenGate, that will also be replicated. Oops. Now, these are three inserts. So remember, supplemental logging doesn't come into picture during insert, because insert happens as it is. So supplemental logging is the concept which is used in updates and deletes. Now, suppose now you executed command on source, you executed command update department table, set location equal to India, where department number is equal to 1. Okay, you executed this command. So what will happen? This one sales Canada on source will become one sales India. So the before image Canada will become India as after image. Okay. Now using GoldenGate, this has to be replicated. So now the same row will go to target. But what happens is, let me tell you, by default, only the column which is getting updated gets recorded into redo log. So basically, what happens is only the column which is getting updated, that is location column, the before image of it is Canada, will be recorded into redo logs. Right. Now, when this record goes to target, the GoldenGate replicate will try to apply. So it will search for the column with location column which has value as Canada. Now, suppose you have got 100,000 records which have location column value as Canada. So GoldenGate will not be able to uniquely identify which row it has to update. On source side, it knew which row it has to update because it has a department number when it executed the statement. But on target, what happens is in redo logs, only the column, by default, only the column which is getting updated gets recorded into the redo logs. So here, only the before image Canada will be recorded into the redo logs. Okay. Now, when it goes on to target, because location column is neither primary key nor unique key, hence there will be multiple columns which there will be duplicates basically. So GoldenGate is unable to identify which row it has to apply update to, and hence the GoldenGate replication will not work. So how to resolve this? How can we resolve it? So to resolve this, we need to add extra column into redo logs whenever there is update and delete. By default, only the column which is getting updated gets recorded into redo. So now we need to add extra columns. Basically, supplemental logging we need to add in the database, in the table now. So, so suppose if I add an extra column into redo log, so whenever update happens, along with the column which is getting updated, primary key column also should be added, like department number should be added. So in that case, what happens is whenever whether department name is updated or location is updated, along with that extra column department number will be added. So now what happens is department number and location column are getting added. So now along with that, along with the column which is updated Canada, the department number will be added as well in the redo logs. So now when this record goes on to target, it knows that the update has come onto department number 1, and hence it will successfully be able to now apply the update on target database. So supplemental logging adds an extra column into redo logs so that a row can be uniquely identified in case of updates and deletes. I again repeat this concept. Supplemental logging adds an extra column. So it's a extra logging at the table level which happens in the database. Now, by default, only the column which is getting updated gets recorded into redo logs. So suppose you are updating location column in the database on source. So what happens is only the location column value will be logged into the database. Okay. Now GoldenGate, when it tries to apply the data on target, because in the logging, it only has location column value. So on target side, because there are duplicates on location column, it is unable to uniquely identify which row it has to apply update to, and hence the replication will fail. So to achieve the same, you need to add extra column logging. So if you add primary key column, department number is primary key, that is best way to identify the row on target, right? So what you are doing, you are adding department number to this. Now department number 1. So we executed the command where department number equal to 1. So the column which is getting updated, along with that, the primary key of that is also getting returned into redo logs. So hence when replicate has to apply the target, it knows that which row it has to apply update to, and successfully it will apply the data onto that. Same concept applies to delete as well. Okay, now supplemental logging is added based on these scenarios. Suppose if a table has primary key, supplemental logging will be added on primary key. What do we mean by supplemental logging will be added on primary key? It means that along with the column which is getting updated, primary key column will be logged into redo log. So suppose table has 200 columns. Now remember one thing, there is one downside of enabling the supplemental logging. It will generate more supplemental log. It will generate more redo logs, right? Earlier there was only one column which was getting returned into the logs, transaction logs of the database. But with supplemental logging, at least two columns will be added. So your log generation will increase in that case. So suppose if you have 200 columns in the database, now if you are going to log all 200 columns, again, it will become an issue, right? Your log generation will become huge in that case. So supplemental logging happens in below order, gets added in below order. So suppose if a table has primary key, supplemental logging will be enabled on primary key column. That means along with the column which is getting updated, primary key will be logged into the redo log. Suppose if table does not have primary key, then it looks for unique key. Okay, so unique key column will be logged into the database. Suppose if the table doesn't have primary key or unique key, in that case, all column supplemental logging. So all column supplemental logging means is all the columns will be logged into redo logs to uniquely identify a row. Okay, so supplemental logging is really important concept. It is used to uniquely identify the row in case of updates and deletes. If your supplemental logging is not enabled, your replication will not work. Your updates and deletes will not work. Now, the supplemental logging, as I mentioned, is enabled in below order. If you hear the term supplemental logging is added on primary key, it means that along with the column which is getting updated, primary key will be logged into the transaction logs. If you hear the term supplemental logging will be added on unique key column, it means that along with the column which is getting updated, unique key column will be logged into the redo log. If you hear the term that all column supplemental logging is enabled, it means that all the supplemental logging will be enabled on all the columns. So whenever there is update in the database, supplemental logging will get enabled on all the columns. So that means all the columns will be logged into the database, into the redo log. Okay, so now how do we enable supplemental logging at table level? So we saw we enable supplemental logging at database level using this command. Now, how do we enable supplemental logging at table level? Okay. So to enable the supplemental logging at table level, there are two ways. One is at DB level, and second is at GGSCI prompt. DB level or GGSCI. So to enable the supplemental logging at database level, from SQL prompt basically, you can execute the command alter table name, add supplemental log data all columns, or you can define like either on all columns, either on primary key or unique key column, or all columns. You can define any of the three. Other option is if you want to do it at GGSCI level, at the GGSCI prompt, log into the database as at pluggable database if it's multi-tenant, and then execute the command add tran data pdb1.ggtraining1.dbt1. So basically, pluggable database name dot schema name dot table name. So tran data means transactional data. So add tran data. So the command to enable the supplemental logging is from GGSCI prompt is add tran data schema name dot table name. Remember, as a DBA, we have a bad habit of putting semicolon. I should not say bad habit, but we have a habit, right? But remember, in GoldenGate, none of the commands ends with semicolon. There are one or two places where you'll be putting semicolon, and I'll let you know about that. But remember, none of the commands in GoldenGate ends with semicolon. Okay, so now add tran data is the command through which you can enable the supplemental logging at database level. Okay,
Ashish.
so now we'll see how can we enable the supplemental logging. Let us see that. So to enable, so remember, this supplemental logging is only required for, it is only required to be enabled on source side. It's not required to be enabled on target side. Remember, when you execute this command, add tran data pdb1.gg training1.dpt1. So if the table has primary key, it will enable the supplemental logging on primary. If suppose primary key is not there, then it will search for unique key. If unique key is found, it will enable the supplemental logging on unique key. If table doesn't have either primary key nor unique key, in that case, it will enable supplemental logging on all the columns. Let us see how it works. So, we are at GGSCI prompt. First of all, what I'll do is I'll log into the database. How do we log into the database? How do we log into the database from GGSCI prompt? Can anyone tell me?
DB login, user ID
Absolutely.
alias.
So we'll go DB login, user ID alias GG_PDB1. Okay. So because we are enabling the supplemental logging at table level, so we need to log into pluggable database. Now we are logged into pluggable database. Now you can run the command. So you can also list out the tables using command list tables pdb1.gg training1.star. So it will list out what all tables are part of GG training 1 schema under PDB1. So you see, they found two table lists, your criteria. There are two tables, pdb1.gg training1.dpt11, and second is emp11. Two tables are there. Okay. Now, once you have done that, now you can add tran data. How do you add tran data? Remember, this table has primary key dpt11. So now I'll do add tran data pdb1.gg training1.dpt11. So it should add the tran data on that table. See, tran data has been enabled now. Now to check on what column tran data has been enabled, you can do info tran data pdb1.gg training1.dpt11. See, columns supplementally logged for table are DP, department number. There are three columns, but supplemental logging has been enabled only on one column, which is department number. Why? Because department number is primary key. Now, just for your reference, let me drop the primary key from the database. 1/welcome1@pdb1. Okay. I'll do alter table dpt11 drop primary. I have dropped the primary. Now suppose if I check the tran data again, I have dropped the primary key. But if I check the tran data again, I still see that tran data is enabled on department number. Why? The reason being, once you add it, okay, the tran data will information gets enabled based on table structure when you added the tran data. Okay. Now I'll delete the tran data. How do you delete? You can use the command delete tran data pdb1.ggtraining1.dpt1. Now I'll add it back. Add tran data pdb1.ggtraining1.dpt1. Now you will see if I do info tran data. Now you will see column supplementally logged for table pdb1.ggtraining1.dpt11. It is department number, department name, and location. So all the column supplemental logging has been enabled now. Why? Because the table doesn't have either primary key nor unique key. Hence, supplemental logging has been enabled on all the columns in this case. Okay. So that was just for your reference. Let me re-add the primary key. Alter table dpt11, add primary key department 11. Oh, sorry, department number. Describe dpt11 dno dptno. Paste dptno. Okay, now it has been added. Now again, if I delete and re-add history, I'll run this 25th line. It will delete. Now I'll again add 20. It has added, and I again run 27. See info tran data. See column supplementally logged as department number. So supplemental logging has successfully been enabled on department number.